Note: disconnect the unit's power plug before you start disassembling the unit. Start disassembling the handpiece by removing the handpiece housing. Hold the rear section of the handpiece to do so. Rotate the housing anti-clockwise by 45 degrees and pull it off to the front. Now you can unscrew the handpiece. Hold the motor firmly and unscrew the handpiece. Use the cleaning key from the unit's accessories if needed. The coupling should stay on the motor. If the coupling has come off the motor, put it back onto the motor shaft with a flat side. In the next step, unscrew the retaining nut from the handpiece using the cleaning key. Note: disassembling the entire handpiece is only necessary if the front bearing has to be replaced. Only removing the rear shaft, including the clamping bed, clamping bushing and clamping pins, is sufficient for normal cleaning. Now you can take the clamping device out of the handpiece. To do so, use the test pin to push the front shaft out of the housing. Pushing the shaft through from the front is not so easy with a used handpiece. In this case, the handpiece has to be pushed upside down onto the test pin. Place it onto a level surface such as the cleaning key. Take off the dust cap and lay it aside. Take the shafts out of the handpiece housing. Pull the shafts apart. In the final disassembly step, the clamping pins can be removed from the rear shaft together with the clamping bed and clamping bushing. Make sure the clamping pins do not roll away. To avoid losing the clamping bushing, you can take it off the clamping bed and lay it aside. Also pull the bearing off the front shaft and carefully lay it aside. Clean all interior surfaces with the pipe cleaner and brush off all parts. If necessary, use isopropyl alcohol to remove tough dirt. Aside from the front bearing and the rear shaft, all parts can be cleaned in an ultrasonic cleaner. After wet cleaning, the parts have to be rinsed to remove cleaning agent residues. The parts have to be fully dry prior to assembly. Now you can proceed with the assembly. Start by placing the clamping pins onto the clamping bed. Hold the clamping pins with 3 fingers to keep them from falling off. Then insert the clamping bed together with the clamping pins into the rear shaft. Next, put the clamping bushing back onto the clamping bed. If the clamping bushing does not engage on the clamping bed, rotate the clamping bushing until it fits correctly on the 3 prongs of the clamping bed. Now slide the front shaft onto the rear shaft. Then slide the bearing back onto the upper shaft. Next, slide the assembled clamping device into the housing. Now screw the retaining nut back in. Finally, put the dust cap back onto the tip of the handpiece. Firmly hold the motor and screw the handpiece on hand tight. Hold the rear section of the handpiece. Align the markings and slide on the housing. Rotate it clockwise by 45 degrees until it engages. The handpiece is ready for use. Our recommendation: use the Gerlach dust protection rings on all rotating instruments. They effectively prevent dust and dirt from getting into the handpiece and considerably increase the service life of the handpiece.